So tonight I have a little bit of a triple unboxing for you guys. It's really not a triple unboxing. It's one box, and that box is actually a watch roll. However, there are 3 watches inside. This is a watch roll that was sent with the watches, and all 3 watches inside were sent by the brand SEESTERN. Now, 2 of them are DOXA homages. The other is a Breitling homage. We'll get into the watches in just a second. They actually said they're considering making this watch roll for sale on their website, and I really think it's a good idea, especially considering the prices that they charge on their watches. I think they'll actually charge a very good price for this, and it's actually very well made, and I really like it. It's a 3 watch roll. Basically, you have 4 points of contact here for closure. They're snap closures. Inside is all microfiber. It's made out of leather. And then you have these notches where you could actually display the watches. You could actually take these out and sit them up and then put this back in this little notch back here. And it'll actually just you could use it as a display or whatever. It's really nice. It's actually very nice. And considering, like I said, what they charge us for their watches, I could only imagine that this would be a very cheap add-on to your order next time you're buying a watch from them. That's pretty cool. So as I mentioned, 2 DOXA homages. This one is sort of the aquamarine dial or turquoise dial, whatever you want to call it. This one is the black and white dial. You have that sort of checkered pattern that looks awesome. You have an orange accent on here. We'll do close-ups of both of these. Both of these have beads of rice on their bracelet, so these are beads of rice bracelet. Then we have a Sugess. Sugess is a brand that actually make a lot of chronographs. This is an ST19 powered chronograph. You get a swan neck on here as well. Let's take them out and take a look at each one. So we're going to start with the chronograph. As I mentioned, this is sort of I guess an homage to the Breitling Top Time, if you guys are familiar with that. This looks very similar to a limited edition that they came out with, and that's because of the actual chapter ring. You have that sort of black chapter ring with just a little pop of orange right there. Orange lightning bolt hand. Now that's something that they did on their own. And then there's a little bit of orange in the actual hands themselves. They're stick hands. You have lume in those. And then you have orange chronograph hands, applied indices, and sort of a cream colored dial. Just a really attractive, very good looking chronograph. You have a star on the crown here. The crown does not screw in, but that is because it is a chronograph. So just winding it up right there. It is a hand wound chronograph. You have a nice little buckle on here. It is not signed. It is just blank, which is okay. And then you have a pressed sort of leather strap. So this is probably a calf leather strap that's been pressed with a croc sort of pattern on it. Looks really nice. And then you have a domed sapphire crystal, and there is the movement. Now I always talk about the ST19 movements because I really do like ST19 movements because they are affordable. They're good looking, they're hand wound. It sort of gives you the opportunity to interact with your watch. And it's a really great starter movement for someone who's really getting into mechanical watches because, like I said, it's good to look at. Now, you're not going to put a loop to it because you're not going to see things that you're going to like, but just to look at it on its surface, it's really nice. And the finishing may not be that great. It's all machine finish, but like I said, it's fun. And considering the price on this, it is pretty incredible. This is $179. This watch is $179. That is unheard of. When I was starting to collect, if you wanted a chronograph, $179 for a mechanical chronograph was impossible. I recently did a review for a watch on this channel that was around $300, and it was a Mecha quartz chronograph. This is $179, and I have to say, this looks way better than that watch did. And it's just, I mean, in every single way, it looks better. And also the size, everything about it is just nicer. So this is a 40 millimeter watch, spot on. It does have pretty long lugs on here. They sort of cut off, but they are very long. So you're going to get a pretty long lug to lug of 50.5 millimeters, which is not terrible. You have a pretty sizable crown on this watch as well. 40 millimeter watch. I can't get a great grip on here, so it's around 6.5 millimeters. And then the thickness is 13.3. That's including the domed sapphire crystal. You can see it is a domed sapphire crystal. Really quickly, I'm going to throw it on my wrist. so you guys can see. Actually, I'll put it aside and we'll do wrist shots all at the end. But I really do like this watch. This is probably one of the most attractive ST19 watches that I've had on the channel. I've had a few, and all of them, first off, have been more expensive than this. So $179 is a phenomenal price. And this is one of the better looking ones that I've actually had on the channel. For $179, you really cannot go wrong. Now, the other two, very interesting watches as well, especially considering the price. Both of these are powered by an NH35. You have a date there at the 3 o'clock, as you can see. They both get very similar handsets. They are just in different colors. So this gets a all black handset. This gets black and orange on that minute tan. And then you have aquamarine in the bezel on this. You have orange on the bezel on this. So there's like a step bezel. Both of the bezels are exactly the same. Otherwise, just the colors are different. You get big sign crowns on both of them. You have the big SEESTERN star on there, the starfish right there. I believe SEESTERN in German means starfish, so that kind of makes sense. Really quickly, let's do some measurements. These are also very well loomed as well. From what I've seen in the past from other SEESTERN watches, they actually do a really good job with loom. I believe they use Japanese loom on their watches, which apparently must be pretty good. So this is very true 43 millimeters, and then you have female end links on here, so a pretty good lug to lug of 46.9. At the actual lugs itself, it's actually a little bit smaller at 45.5. You get drilled lugs also, by the way, on this, and then a very large crown of around around 6.8 millimeters. Thickness on these, and these are exactly the same, so the thickness will be exactly the same, 13.1 millimeters thick. 200 meters of water resistance on these, and of course you're getting a flat sapphire crystal. As you can see, this gets a flat sapphire crystal, again in keeping with the DOXA sort of outline that they're doing here. And then you get a very typical micro brand buckle, but considering the price on this, I really cannot be mad at these watches. These are $199. Now, I could see why maybe other watch brands would get mad at a brand like this, because this is incredible. What they are giving you for the price is insane. Milled buckle, this is pressed, obviously. 4 positions of micro adjust. The bracelet, I believe, is pin and collar, but I could be wrong. If I am wrong, I'll throw it in the comments, but I believe that these get pin and collar. The back has the wave on here, wave pattern, and then not a wave pattern, excuse me, a wave sort of engraving, and then of course you have that little star right there. Again, the C star, and that is their logo. So they put that there. Screwed in case back, 200 meters of water resistance. Everything on the case back is either brushed or bead blasted. It's a really nice satin finish on here. Not a rough edge on this watch, and I'm impressed. This is very hard to do for the price that they are charging. You get milled end links on this watch as well. The aquamarine is probably my favorite. I think this is just a beautiful dial color, but this one is really cool as well. You get that black and white and the orange pop right there. Big sort of square pip on the second hand. I mean, there are definitely, shortcomings with watches like this, but there's really not that many considering that it's $199. A lot of people go out to the mall and spend way much more money on a watch that gets a terrible movement in it, that doesn't look this good. That's just a fact. Every day that happens, and I feel bad for people like that. There's cool watches out there like these 3 watches that you can get for under $200 or around $200. Really quickly, I'm going to just do some bezel action. So everything lines up and everything is tight. It's not the most incredible bezel action you've ever felt in your life, but again, it's really good, and it's $199. It's better than a lot of watches that I've felt that cost double that, triple that. It feels good. It sounds good. Everything lines up. There's not much more you could ask. I think this is pretty cool. Let me throw them on my wrist, and then we will do a lume shot. Very quickly, I just want to show you the chronograph action on this watch. Very nice. It has very nice chronograph action. You know that the ST19 is a vertical clutch and column wheel chronograph. You can see the column wheel from the back, which is right there. It's pretty cool. It's just that blue wheel right there. You know, it's based off of a vintage Venus movement. Venus would go on to be part of Valjoux. So these are nice, nice movements, and they've been making them and they've been churning them out. So the reliability has gone up on those watches as well. Pretty cool when you think about it. Anyway, very quickly, let me show you what I have on my wrist. Then I'm going to throw all three of these on my wrist, and then we will do a lume shot. So tonight I have the Paulin slash or crossover that was done with Anne Ordain. This is a really cool watch. And to give you an idea, this has a NH35 in it. Now, this is definitely not as much watch as this watch, let's say, because this has the exact same movement in it. This is an unsigned movement that you can see from the back. I actually wish you couldn't see it from the back. When I saw a picture of this, they showed it with a closed case back on the MoMA website. When I received it, I was actually disappointed that it did not have a closed case back because I'd prefer it. I just don't care to see it. I like the NH35. I just don't need to see it. This is a $600 watch. This is a $199 watch. This is 10 times the watch that this watch is. Unfortunately, that is the case. This is a really cool watch, though. The dial on here is where the money goes to. But still, it's a lot more than its components, I would say. But I thought it was pretty cool. So very quickly, actually, I'm going to throw this on my wrist since I have it in my hands. This is the DOXA Homage, and you can see 43 millimeters, a pretty good lug to lug of around 46 millimeters, 13 millimeters thick on my 7.5-inch wrist. It wears beautifully. I love this color. A lot of people call it Tiffany, aquamarine, whatever you want to call it. It's a very popular color right now, and I think it works really well. Just a beautiful, beautiful watch, especially considering the price. So always considering the price. These things are, a value that you cannot beat at $199. $179, even better. I think they have another one on their website that has a white dial that might be a little bit less money than this, which is alarmingly low. But there you go. You can see that lug to lug is long because you have those long, sort of pointy lugs on here. They do stretch out far. It's part of the look. I like this look. I really do like it, and it reminds me of that Breitling a lot. It's a good-looking watch, and on your wrist, this looks a lot more expensive than $179. I have to say, this looks a lot more expensive than $179. It's very tastefully done. The applied indices, you have lume on here. We'll do a lume shot, as I mentioned. Just beautiful. Very, very nice. Last but not least is the black and white dial. And this one I really like as well. I just like that aquamarine color a lot. It's just popular, I guess. Maybe that's the reason why I like it right now. I think this looks really good as well. I like the orange. It kind of stands out on the bezel and on the minute hand. It works really well. Just a good-looking, everyday dive watch that you could wear, and it's just good-looking. It's just a good-looking watch, and they're well made. You get that reliable NH35. Really, you cannot go wrong. And they usually do a good job with lume. Let's check out the lume and then wrap up the video. All right, well, there you have it. So the chronograph, not an incredible amount of lume on here, but you do have little dots at each one of the indices, and the hands are liberally applied with lume. It's pretty bright where it's actually applied. Those dots are actually pretty liberally applied considering, so it's not that bad. The DOXA homages obviously have a lot more lume, and one of them actually has the lumed date option. So you have that option. I don't believe it costs anything extra. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I believe you can just opt to get it. I would always opt to get a lumed date. I just think it looks cool because you don't have a lumed date here. It does cut off that indice or index at the 3 o'clock, and there's just a little bit of the index left, and then you don't see the date in the dark. Here, they don't do that, and they just leave the date, which is fully loomed. And so in the dark, it is basically a symmetrical dial. All of the indices line up and look good. Really just cool watches. They have a pip in the at the 12 o'clock position when it is lined up perfectly, and gives you orientation in the dark. Really just nicely loomed watches, especially considering the price, $199. Again, I have seen watches that cost double and triple that do not do loom as good as this. In fact, way more than that. I can give you an idea of my Mito Ocean Star Tribute. The loom does not even hold up nearly as good as this watch. This is actually holding on a lot better than that watch does, and that is an $1,100 watch. So there you go. I mean, that's something to be said. Anyway, tell me what you guys think of these watches in the comments below. SEESTERN doing some really cool things. I think I'm going to be giving away one of these watches. It's either the black and white DOXA or the aquamarine DOXA in a giveaway video that I'm going to be doing actually very soon. It might be dropping on Sunday, so definitely stay tuned. That will be in celebration of my 20,000th subscriber, which is rapidly approaching. I'll be giving away a 3-watch collection. All 3 are mechanical, and all 3 are pretty damn cool. But anyway, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel. I very much appreciate it. Please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WatchChrisBlog, all one word. And that's really it. Thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.